anyway, sorry. Yeah, I'm totally yours now.
Oh, well, not a problem at all. And thank you very much for taking the time to do this. It's great to be able to talk to you and talk about this amazing new double album from the Flower Kings with Islands coming out this past week. How does it feel to finally have this double album finally coming out a week ago?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to do this. Really my pleasure. As you may know, I mean, those are really interesting times. And about the new music, we just anticipate, the process of making new music, but it was certainly in the air, doing something new, but not so soon. And, but due to the COVID situation, we wanted to waste time, just stay at home and just crying because the world is just going bad or something like that. So, Roy suggested, and I have to give credit Roy because he suggests let's do music. That's what we do. If we cannot do live, let's do studios. So we, luckily enough, I have my this is my basically rehearsal studio. It's a drum studio, so not a recording studio, but I can record decent stuff on here. And for the occasion, I even I've done like an upgrade of the machines that were around. So we recorded very decent stuff here. So and luckily for me, I knew what I had to do. Even we had, or let's say, problems, but it's not even problems because Roine is very precise. He knows what he wants. So we spent like 2 weeks nailed the perfect in Urbane sound for the album. So it's been interesting to do a long process, because usually when you record in your studio and you send the tracks, you do your work, you take your time, even like a week, 10 days, whatever, and then you send, and it's not your business anymore. But then we did the pre-production, we did the recording and all the stuff. So we spent the whole 3 months in the studio, but even not together. So, but it's been a really nice experience. Even I miss that. Those are, the guys are my family in Sweden. So, and Zach in California. But I think that this lack of distance, this lack of you say the fact that you're not with them in the same rooms, you can just probably feel the wish to stay together, in the album. And that's probably even let's say the concept behind the album, the wish to do better things, no matter what the times forced to do, because we cannot, of course, we cannot just even travel from country to country. So that's the basic thing. I guess you can feel the emotions in the album, in the songs. That's basically that. We give a really our hearts in this music, in the new music and Islands.
Yeah, that's totally the way I felt about it as well too. I mean, the more that I listen to it, the more that I do hear those emotions and those longing for more, longing to be able to get back to some kind of normalcy, being able to see each other, being able to go around the world, go to different countries, like here in America, different states, and just trying to just to find something there. And I really feel that with Islands. And it's just like, I don't think this album could have been made outside of 2020 because of what the real emotion that goes on behind it.
Right. We just did the priority of Roine. That actually I can speak for myself, but I know that for the other guys in the band it's the same. The priority is to do music with the heart. No labels, no limits. And if we, as artists, if we feel sad or happy or everything in between, it's our priority to try to translate those kind of feelings in the music. And that's what the people probably we've done quite good if people really can feel that. And I appreciate what you say, because actually I think it's really you cannot have any doubt, the fact that the COVID situation, the isolation influenced, the whole vibe of the album, the lyrics in the music, so that's it.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's great to see that, even with everything that's going on in the world right now, with COVID, with 2020 in general, that, technology is so far advanced that you are able to keep in touch with each other, let alone being able to record and send tracks to each other and being able to give each other feedback and being able to create the album that you did. Because if you knew nothing about the album, knew nothing about the band, you just listened to it to the first time, it sounds like you are working together in the studio creating this music. And, obviously when you start to dissect everything that's going on and you start to learn everything that's behind it, I mean, it adds more of that emotion, but it's just amazing to see how well you work together without even being able to see each other.
Oh, well, yeah, you said totally right. I mean, that's all about technology. That's amazing. And, and even like 5 years ago probably was that quick, to do this. And we really, I mean, the process of work was that in my case that when you send me maybe the track in the morning or in the night, so in the morning was ready, then I will eventually come in the studio because my studio was in very close to my home, so I was able to have a little walk and come here, no restriction about that. So with the file in my USB key and put in my DAW and having my templates of drums, and starting to and of course, I had my indication by Rona, but the tracks were quite clear. But Rona gives me and to the other guys a lot of freedom. So I just eventually start to listen to the song while I was on the drums, because I had my my desk here with my recording stuff, but then I had a remote control on my kit. I have like a monitor with another wireless keyboards, another cursor, so I can work easily from the drums. So every time I was just listening the programmed drums part, the drum part, and trying to see if there was my kind of thing, or maybe create. It was the case to create something different and to propose to Ron. And then maybe I will work the noon or even all the day, depends from the kind of song. And then in the evening, I will send back to Ryan my version with my drums on it. So we did that for pre-production and all the recordings, basically, even with the percussions.
Yeah, and it's great to hear that too. I mean, again, being able to go back and forth and being able to get those notes, but I'm so glad to hear that you did have a lot of freedom with what you wanted to do with the drum tracks as well. I mean, being able to incorporate your style and what you felt really fit with the music, because, sometimes there's some complicated parts that are just jaw-dropping to hear, and then there's other times that are just so beautiful that go on with the music. I mean, it's great to see the band being able to work like that. I mean, just through transferring files, really being able to add that emotion like that.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, as I say again, I mean, Ron, since Waiting for Miracles, actually, he gives a lot of freedom to us. So I knew that I could even experiment more now, because actually Ron, for this album's sake, guys, let's just play whatever we have in our mind, whatever. Okay, let's just create, no limits. Okay, then someone had like a song, an idea, and we just added tons of stuff. Okay, tons of stuff. And to be completely honest, yes, I had a lot of freedom, but I even had suggestions by everyone, mainly Jonas and Roy. And I have to be honest, it really transformed me a little bit for this album. I play in a little different way than my usual. I'm basically a rock drummer and I'm a hard hitter, but and I did that on Waiting for Miracle. Okay, but during the tours, during the recording of the album of Islands, I just trying to be like give even more space to the music and really like thinking of in a lighter way, and for an instance, I used a lot of the tip of the drumsticks on the cymbals. Okay, I played even more dynamically than I usually do. Okay, nor that I played with like not caring about the music, but now it was even more evident. My let's say sacrifice on drums in order to give more breath to the music.
Yeah, and I completely noticed that change as well, too. I mean, when I listen to Waiting for Miracles, like, I can definitely hear that rock background that's going on there, and then with Islands being able to, like, show off more of what you're capable of, like, being able to show off those dynamics, and sometimes it is just, like, hitting the tips of the sticks on the cymbals, sometimes it's being able to play complicated drum beats, sometimes it is just knowing when to play and when not to play, and that's exactly a great way to be able to describe Islands, and I think that goes for the entire band too, of like knowing what to add to the song and what to not add to the song.
Well, but I wanted to remind the fact that when we the difference between the two albums, Waiting for Miracles and Iceland, are so those are so different because they when me and Zach did Waiting for Miracles, I don't want to say it was a sort of try for us, but of course we at the time we don't have the same confidence that we have now, and the same for the guys in toward us, and also it's very important to know that when we recorded Waiting for Miracles in Stockholm, I had in my drums was a completely different drum set that I usually use, because for an instance I use like a classic let's say 20 or 22 kick, 8, 10, 12 rack toms and 2 floor toms, like a classic, let's say rock, I don't want to say progressive rock, but this is classic configuration of drums. When I went there, we had some issues to have a drum kit, and I ended to use the one in the studio in R&B studio of Benny Anderson of ABBA in Stockholm, and it was a fantastic old Ludwig drum kit, and it was 12, 13, 16, and 22. So it was a completely different size, and the rebound was different. The sound I wanted from the kind of tone I wanted from the drums was totally different. So I had to rearrange, and that kind of things influenced a little bit even the sound of the entire album. And I guess now it's the same things. Now I had all my stuff. I'm in my studio. I have 12 snare drums. I have tons of cymbals. And I have my kits here, so I could actually use whatever I want, because I wanted the Ludwig for the Ludwig was excellent for some songs, but not for everyone, for every song, But I had no alternative there, so no option. Here I have my option, so it was more like, I can more relaxed because I can choose my stuff here. I have another vintage kit to do, more like the Ringo stuff. I guess I did Open Fear with Slingerland, and I did even Morning News. I did with the Slingerland old kit. So it's different. It's really different kind of situation. And to be completely honest, I don't think we still reached our qualities or possibilities, in doing stuff. Because yes, we done the job for the new album, but it wasn't not that easy anyway. When you're on the under the same roof, it's different, So I think that hoping that the next album that we're going to do will be even better. so because hoping that we can do all together.
Oh, absolutely, and it's great to be able to see like those contrasts that do happen between Waiting for Miracles and Islands, because it shows like two completely different ways to be able to record, and knowing that the fact that you can make two great albums, under two very different circumstances like that, and roughly a year's time too. I mean, I think it's just a couple days from now will be 1 year since Waiting for Miracles came out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're able to adapt to those situations so quickly, I think that I agree. The next Flower Kings album, I mean, especially from band-wise and the production and everything that goes into it, especially if things get back to some kind of normalcy, will be even better than what's going on now.
Well, if we do math calculation, yes, will be good. But, I don't know. I really don't know. I hope. I mean, we have all the elements to do great music for years and years. But, let's see what happens. And I'm actually very curious about the future now. And, yeah, you said right. It's 1 year. And actually today it's 1 year that I went for the first time in Sweden to meet the guys for the first time today.
Oh, wow.
And they do the rehearsal with the band before going to Brazil for the first concert with them.
Oh, that's incredible. And yeah, I mean, being able to see everything that you've been able to accomplish with the band in, just a little over a year's time. I mean, it's just incredible to see, like 2 great albums coming out, being able to go and play with the guys, and let alone meet the guys for the first time and be able to have those rehearsals. I mean,
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah, so 2 years.
2 years ago was the first time that I met them, and I did the first tour with them. 1 year ago, almost, as you say, we did Waiting for Miracles, and now less than 1 year we did Islands. It's a lot of stuff, actually. Yeah, if I think it's a lot of stuff, and everything in between. We did Japan and all the tours and stuff.
Oh, that's simply incredible. And yeah, and especially when I'm looking at the video that you got going on right now. I mean, the fact that you do have like some quality equipment that you're able to have it in your arsenal right now. I mean, being able to switch between different snares and different cymbals and different kits. I mean, when you have the opportunity to be able to switch up your gear for recording, like how much of an effort is it for you to be able to decide what you're going to be using on a song?
Oh, it's really about what the music suggests, period. I mean, what the vibes of the music it's all about. I mean, if I just feel from the demo version of, let's say, I don't know, for example, let's say the title on the Black Swan, okay? It's one of my favorite songs on the album. It's a very Queen Beatles ish song. I couldn't play with a modern kit. Yeah, I can nail the sound, tuning and do my tricks on the drums. But I say, what the hell? I have a vintage kit. I have time. Let's do that. So it's really like it's not that complicated. I mean, whatever the music suggests, I just done, and we did a lot of experiment even with sounds, with bending the cymbals and doing like a thing with the sticks. I don't know how you call it, but almost like using the bow of the cellos on the cymbal. Then a lot of, noises, a lot of this kind of things. Because we had time. We had time to do that. And if you think about it, it's really the old-fashioned way to record an album. I mean, bands and artists, they really used to spend months in the studio to produce their albums, so they had the time to do everything they want. We did the same, but, in our studios.
Yeah, and it really shows the detail and the care that you really do have for the music as well, too, because especially with technology these days, I mean, when it comes to the drums, it can be so easy to just use sound replacements and just using a digital kit rather than actually using an acoustic setup. And the fact that you actually care that much to be able to make sure that you get the right sounds, use the right toms, use the right snare drum, the right tunings, the right cymbals, everything. It's just those little details that make you care that much more about the music.
Oh, come on. I mean, that's all the fun is there actually when you're in the studio. We were not doing sessions. We were doing an album or music. So we had to respect the music that we were doing, but we had to respect our creativity actually. So, for an instance, I used like 5 right cymbals for all the album and countless of snare drums actually, and because why not? I don't want to put any kind of limits to creativity in for this music, because as you say, it's so easy to add a trigger sample and stuff like that, but then we will end to sound like anybody else, So let's try something that maybe not everybody will understand or will like, but that's our music. We want it to be like trying to be different, or we try to be personal. And the same for the mix. Because yes, we knew that the drums it's a little bit back in the mix. Okay, but it's been our choice. As I said, I'm a hard hitter. It's not really lack of power or something like that. No, hell not. It's been really like a choice of everyone, but most of all Roy, because he's the producer, and he wanted to get the sound of the album that he used to listen. That they will let's say speak the music and the melodies and the voice more than the drums, because in progressive music, rock or metal, the drums is often very chaotic. Not say that it's ugly, but it's very easy to fall in distracting parts with drums. So you can do that, but you can stay a little bit back with the volume, and do your stuff and give the feelings that you're doing this kind of stuff. But maybe let the rest of the music and the message, behind the music speak for everyone. You hear a lot of bands that Tom's very present, the kick is so huge, sing for the snare drum. But we wanted to do something different. We wanted to do something more, I will say, classy, or as you say, we really care about the music. It was not about the guitar or the voice or whatever. It was about the music and the message behind that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so great to hear that reconfirmation of that too, because just like you said, I mean, the drums are so upfront and they are so chaotic so much, and especially the more progressive, the more rock, the more metal that it gets. I mean, when you hear some beautiful songs on this album and then all of a sudden you just hear like these crushing toms and double bass and gravity blasts, I mean, it's not going to make sense for the music. I mean, you want to be able to play for the song so people remember the full song, not just knowing, oh, the drummer can do a lot of cool stuff, or, oh, look at the guitar player being able to do some fills along the fretboard. I mean, it's supposed to be about the full-on songs and the whole-on piece that you're trying to create, rather than just the individuals.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, it depends really from the kind of music and really from the song. Indeed, it's not like, even in our album, the drums mix, it's not the same for all the songs. There's some songs that you can hear toms that are more in front of the mix, and some songs that are just a little bit lower, because it depends what the rest of the band is doing that, and what is important to hear better in that kind of parts. It's not like, okay, tom sounds like that for all the length of the album, kicks the same. No, I mean, music it's like it's a speech, so it's full of dynamics, and it depends what you want to tell and what you want to give to the listener. And it cannot be just like so the zebra cannot hide, the lion doesn't sleep tonight. It has to be so the zebra cannot hide, lion doesn't sleep tonight. So it has to be something dynamic. You cannot just play all that, for all the same level for all the songs. That's our thought, and I totally agree with that. I'm totally with that.
Oh yeah, and just like you said, it does depend on the music, and yeah, I mean, there's some great bands and great albums that do show off like an individual musician, and songs that show off a great instrumentation and things like that. But, just something for like Islands, being able to, really care about the songs and, the moments that are supposed to feature something that really shines, whether it be the complete band, whether it be a fill, whether it be the atmosphere that's going on. I mean, all of those things are so important to the music, and having those dynamics like that is such a great way to go. And again, just thinking about that, I mean, that's an important thing when it comes to writing a song is, obviously playing for the music, but also knowing how to make those dynamics so those songs stand out more.
Well, absolutely. And It's you tell the story in the songs, so you have to be able to respect the dynamics and respect the tones every time, and respect, even what the singer is trying to say. You cannot just when the singer say, I love all the forest in front of me, and the trees, and you just play, super harsh kind of drums groove, like it doesn't match. You have to be part of the story. Or if it's your choice, you can do this kind of mismatch between the music and the lyric. But, we haven't do that. We haven't done that.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, again, it's just when I do think about Islands, I really love the way that it did turn out. And, just despite all of the circumstances that went into it this year, and, just the fact that it was like built on the emotions, and, it really does feel like one of the more emotional albums that the Flower Kings have been able to put out in your discography, because it's just like you can really feel it, and especially when you're in this time in 2020 and you listen to it when it's in 2020, you can really start to understand what's going on with the stories and the emotions behind it. And, it's just, I think that's going to be such a lasting impression for people that when shows eventually do start happening again, I mean, being able to promote, this album and the last album, of course, being able to show off those songs live, I think the songs are really going to be able to have that emotion behind it in that live setting as well, because people will be able to reflect on what's been going on this year.
Oh, well, they will know the story behind that, because it's the story that behind, it's the story that everyone went through. We will say that. At one point we will say, guys, that we were under the same circumstances, so you can understand what is going on in our songs, and it's not about my personal thing. It's about really this time. It's about everyone, because we're experiencing the same kind of things, nowadays.
Oh, very much so. And yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about that again too, when eventually it does come to being able to do live shows again. I mean, I can just imagine that's going to be such a great feeling when, you can go out there, that it's going to be safe to be able to play shows, and, just being able to show things off in that live setting, being able to get that reaction from the crowd, the band being able to feed off of that, and the crowd being able to feed off the band. I mean, I know that's still a ways to come, but I know it's going to be a great feeling when you're able to go out and promote these songs live.
It will be even better than ever, because now we are very hungry of playing shows live, and I know that people are they are so excited to support them live, and just because we are all hungry of emotions, so we wanted to meet them and they wanted to meet us. We wanted to meet our crew, we wanted to meet our friends around the world, the venue owners that they are so in trouble as well, all the guys that work behind the curtains. Those are heroes, and we cannot wait to just, to let the machine work again. It will be different. It will take time, but eventually we will survive, one way or another. So it will be beautiful. It will be beautiful. I know that.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, again, just between Islands and Waiting for Miracles, I mean, the next album that eventually will come out at some point, being able to go on tour at some point. I mean, it's just great to see everything that is going on with the band, still being able to work on the band here in 2020, and, being able to take the time to make sure that you have the right sounds and you're able to recreate them the way that they are supposed to sound, and having that full arsenal of drums that you have at your disposal. I mean, it's such an incredible thing to know that you did put so much time and effort in knowing what you wanted to be able to do between the last two albums, and it's got me very curious to see what you're going to be using for a live setup, because, obviously you can't bring all of those kits and cymbals and snares and stuff. Oh, really? You do?
Oh, yeah, my live rig, it's pretty huge. If you're just searching something on the internet, it's pretty huge, and probably even bigger than what I have in the studio, because I had even like a percussion set on my left. For instance, I had this Tama kit, is a Superstar Classic, not Star Classic, but Superstar Classic. Is, let's say, cheap drum set, but it's maple one. It sounds beautiful. beautiful. And I had 3 rec toms, 2 floor toms, 2 snare drums, 1 sort of gong drum, but it's more like pancake gong drum, timbalitos on my right, 2 octobans, probably 14 or 15 cymbals, a lot of percussions. So it was not, and all was mounted on a rack. So it's, I'm even thinking anyway, and this is like kind of very exclusive news. I'm thinking to reduce my kit for the next years, with the Flower Kings. I want to just keep the essential. Not it will be a small kit, but probably will be a smaller kit. Because, the fact is that I have to cover a lot of things that the other guys did in the past, the other amazing drummers that the Flower Kings had in the past. If I had to play just what Felix Lerman did, I had to play maybe just like a normal 5-piece drum kit, but then I'm even playing what they used to have another. I have to have a percussionist in the band, Hasse. It's called Hasse as well, and I play these parts as well. So I will have like a little percussions, then maybe less toms, maybe definitely less cymbals, but it will be anyway a big kit. I'm a huge fan of big kit because that's so, you can really cover a lot of things did in the past and things that you have in your mind. They play with Pat Mastelotto, and Pat is totally crazy mother, and plays a lot of colors, a lot of symbols, effects, and steel things. And so I wanted to, let's say, not replicate that, but, giving the same feelings in a way that Pat, Zoltan, Felix, and the other drummers did in the past. So I had to incorporate all those elements in one kit. So if you add another bass drum, is a metal kit actually. But it will be smaller in the future. Like 99% of chance that would be smaller kit.
Oh. Well, even with that though, with it still being a bigger kit, you do have so many sounds and so many options of what you can do, and just like you said, being able to replicate the drummers of the past, being able to have all of those sound options so you can get close to that original sound. I think that's so important to be able to do that, but also being able to play it with your finesse, your style as well, too.
That's the thing. You have to add to what I said, my kind of playing, because I have my preference in sounds, so it's not all about what they did, but it's all about what I want to say as well, because now I have 2 albums that I did with the Flower Kings, so there's my sounds as well on the Flower Kings songs and catalog. So I have to keep that and, keep even what they did the other drugs in the past and do a mix. Maybe trying to create like an original, let's say, sound or way of play, because it's not very often now the drummers are very positive in terms of playing percussion as well together. At least they do a lot of, let's say, Latin stuff, with timbales and salsa stuff and Afro-Cuban drums, but not like doing colors and stuff while you're playing. And there's a lot of great drums that do that, but it's not the same numbers of the drums that playing the Afro-Cuban, let's say, kind of drumming.
Oh yeah, and I think that is so important. Obviously, being able to play with the other musicians, knowing what to play, being able to play with your own style, and just seeing the way that you've really adapted with the Flower Kings in particular, just being able to see everything that you're capable of between Waiting for Miracles and Islands and everything that'll come up in the future, and being able to see all the tools and the toys that you're able to use to really make make sure that you get the sounds that you're looking for and making sure the songs are going to be the best that you can do for your performance. And, it's incredible to see that you still think about that with the live aspect, making sure that it's going to be the kind of kit that you want to be able to use in that live setting, being able to use the right equipment when you're recording, just all of those things are just so important and can get lost in the ether so easily in 2020 when, just like we talked about before, when triggers and drum sampling and cymbal replacements are so easy to be able to use. The fun of being able to play drums is to be able to get the sounds that you're looking for and blending those sounds together to be able to create percussive moments. And I'm glad to see that you still take that into account.
Oh, of course. I mean, as I said, I always loved big hits, and I always try. I mean, of course, it depended a lot from the kind of band I was playing. I mean, I played for a lot of years, like a 124 or 26 kick with 13 toms and 16 or 18 or 16, 18 4 toms, 22 and 24 crashes and 24 rides, 16 or 15 I had. So. But, I always try to add some kind of colors to that to be a little bit different of just the grooving things. But I always find myself incorporating some kind of like little splash or cowbells or bells and stuff like that. When finally, when I started to play with the Flower Kings, I really saw the chance to see, to use all the stuff I wanted to use in the ears, because I was listening to the songs and I said, oh my God, I can hear an octagon or like a higher tom here or like a concert tom. Oh my God, I can hear a bell there. Oh my God, I can hear sax that. I can use the stuff on my kit. I'm definitely ready to do that. And as I say, we can, and actually Ryan is so supportive on that. He really loved the fact that I use all this stuff. So, I mean, don't even tell me twice. I mean, I remember during the last tour that unfortunately didn't last that much because, due to the COVID thing. When I sent him my, a drum kit to have there in Sweden, there was a lot of stuff, and he was just, we were just joking, and he said in the mail, why you didn't we got the octobans? And I said, yeah, why not? And then I ordered octobans, and we sent them, octobans. So I had octobans on tour. I said, you don't have to tell me twice. I'll do that. Next time I will bring a gong drum. Sorry, like that, It's a 28 probably, or 30, I don't remember. And so, don't tell me twice. It's really fun. It's really fun to have all that stuff in your arsenal, and you are able to deliver what your ideas are in the music, in the song. And that's and it's true that you have to be able to arrange what the music you're playing with what you have. But what if I have this stuff available? It's better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And when it comes into that album recording sessions especially, I mean, rather than having to replicate something on just a 5-piece kit, I mean, if you have like the cowbells and the glockenspiel and gongs and gong drums and timbales and octobans and all of these things that you are able to use at your disposal. I mean, especially when it's the right sounds and it's the right arrangement, you're just going to make the album that much more diverse and that much more fun to listen to because there are so many sounds that you're using in the right spots. Exactly.
I mean, it's not that you have there and you have to use for all the songs and all the parts. You have there, when you need that, you hit them, so... there's the songs that, I have my octobans here mounted, but sometimes when I send to run the single stems of the drums that I recorded, I was just saying, Ryan, I'm not sending the octoban single stem because I didn't play that, even I had them. I mean, it depends. If I want to, if I feel the need to play that because the music is suggesting like higher pitch drum or really like the tune of the octagon, okay, so I have there ready to be hit, and but otherwise I will not play, but it's ready to serve the music. Oh, completely. And yeah, again, I can't say it enough. I love the fact that you are able to incorporate so much when it comes in the sound, and so much that you are actually able to
to replicate in the live setting, even if it is scaling back a little bit going forward. You know, the fact that you are still going to be able to replicate so much of what you want to be able to do in the studio and have everything that you can to make these great sounds. And, you know, the fact that you really, really did do that with Islands and being able to have all of those great sounds just makes the album even more livelier with percussive sounds, and it's just so great to hear that mesh together so well with the rest of the music and having the great production and the mixing and mastering on top of that. It just makes for an amazing double album that you guys were able to have come out last week. And with all of that, I mean, it's so great to see everything that is going on in the world of Flower Kings. The fact that you do have that passion behind drumming and percussion and making sure to make everything the best that you possibly can be. And once again, I thank you so much for taking this time to be able to talk to me about all of that. I mean, it's amazing to get your insight into all of this and what you really think of when it comes into making a song and using the right equipment and, you know, just doing the best that you possibly can be. I mean, it was just awesome to be able to get your mindset into this.
Oh, no problem, man. I mean, that's what we did. So no secret behind that. It's really a common process that a lot of musicians do. So unfortunately, we were forced to do that. But it's like a common process. And I actually did other albums like that. After I recorded Islands, I did other albums. That I will be able to talk about them in some months. But I had time to record a lot of stuff more, and as you say, technology, it's so crucial with that. It really makes everything easy and possible, actually. So it's really like even sending a track to another room. It's the same things, but in the other room is just distant, thousand and thousand of kilometers. The guys in Sweden. So we were so connected, really. It was really like having around me, they were so quick in responding and quick in asking and sending stuff and ideas and options that it was really like playing together,
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I mean, again, with that technology, being able to do that, and the fact that you are able to work on more than just the Flower Kings, I'm very excited to see what everything that you were able to record in these times right now. I'm so curious to see what will be happening in the future. I think that's a great note to actually end on too, like longing for the future, like what's going to be coming up next with you. Obviously, hopefully touring or at least playing some live shows with the Flower Kings coming up in the future, new releases on your end, and of course this amazing new double album, Islands, which is available now as of last week. It was great being able to talk about all this, and again, I thank you so much for it. I think this was an excellent conversation, being able to get your mindset and everything, and I thank you for taking this time.
Oh, thank you, and I apologize for my English, but since we're not traveling that much more, my English is a little bit rusty. I can hear that, so I'm really deep apologize for that.
Oh, not a problem at all. I really love the way this turned out. I mean, just having like a real conversation and being able to get your mindset into it. It's just like I find that to just be so intriguing, and just like hearing that passion in your voice about what you're doing, and I hope that translates well for everyone that's going to be checking this out, and hopefully getting some even more people to be able to check out Islands and be able to become fans of the Flower Kings and being able to check out what you do outside of the Flower Kings as well.
Let's hope, because I'm really reading great stuff. Even the numbers are starting to. Well, since the beginning, since the first pre-sales and the first singles, I can see that people are really reacting so amazingly to this, and I really appreciate it. I'm actually moved by that. It means that we have been able to translate our feelings, and we understood even their feelings, and we've been able to give them a little bit of happiness, a little bit of tranquility in these crazy times. And because that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to, let them know that everything is going to be fine. That you have to go over the what is happening now, the single day. You have to believe in the future. You have to believe in the humankind. So that's the big message. There's a lot of things that seems positive and they turn to be negative, and a lot of things that are negative but they turn to be better than you think. So that's the message we wanted to give to the people, and I'm so glad that people are getting that. So yeah, let's hope that everything will back to, let's say, normal, or at least even better. That's my hope, and that's what we're really wishing every day. And doing music, it's our tool to let's say, back to that reality.